I just wanted to talk with you about the topic of what is your actual natural expression. Because for me, like what happened somewhere, and I know it happened somewhere like a really, really long time ago, somewhere in like primary, lower school. I somehow adopted a kind of belief, an idea that it was just way better to be kind of a listener, an observer, and a silent person, a person observing everyone and then giving everyone what they needed. I somehow got this idea that it was just better to not take up too much space and too much time and too much attention, and to be somehow the idea of this introverted person. So I acted like that. I acted all the time. I acted for a very, very long time like this introverted person. So you would say that that was my actual natural expression. But for me, like deep down, I always knew that I was this actual very, very expressive and kind of stage tiger person. I loved being on the stage in like drama, in doing a play, doing drama, and I loved actually giving presentations, and when these moments would appear that I would be asked to share or to say something, then I actually really, really loved it, or part of me really, really loved doing that. But there was also fear, because somehow I adopted this idea that when you're like really showing up as yourself, when you take the stage, when you fully express yourself as you are, when you get into that spotlight and you show up as yourself, that somehow it isn't really liked by other people. So you aren't loved or you aren't liked for that, because you take up just too much space, and it's like a almost selfish thing, a thing to do with arrogance or pride, or somehow I had all these beliefs about what that meant about me and what people would think about me. So that would, of course, every time I would put myself in that spotlight, that was kind of the inner dialogue that was going on, making it very, very hard to be that person and to express myself. Making it very, very scary also, making myself very like self-aware in the moment of who I was and what other people were thinking about me in that moment, making it like a whole lot of things, and not a very fun thing to do, of course. But actually I always somehow deep down knew that I was this very, very expressive, outgoing person that just loved to. I had these dreams of like speaking like it was music that wanted to come out. I had these ideas of I knew who I really was. I knew what my natural expression was. But what happens, of course, if you kind of put yourself in that box, if you think like, but this introverted person is what is expected of me, is what actually what people love about me, then it's kind of, you put yourself in a box and everyone around you also sees you as that person. So it gets very challenging to step out of that and to show up as who you really are, because it's somehow like you don't know who is the real you anymore. Although I always knew what the real me was. I always knew that this kind of stage tiger person is what is real about me. So I just wanted to ask you, like, what is your actual natural expression? Because somehow with this whole idea of maybe personality types, which can be very useful to understand more about who you are and who other persons are, and where everybody is, and that everybody's different. So it can be very, very useful to take, for example, these personality tests of being either introverted or extroverted. But this is also about going beyond that, because sometimes it isn't so much about who we really are. It's more about the inner dialogue, like the belief system that is going on inside of us, that we kind of choose some kind of behavior, which is not really the natural expression of who we are. And in this video, I don't mean that it's good to be very expressive and that it's bad to be silent. Not at all. I'm only saying is that deep down we know who we really are. We know what our natural expression is. We know what we would be if we allowed ourselves to be completely free. And of course, you also know deep down that if you are showing up as this natural version of you, things would be just so much more easy and fun, and there would be so much more flow. You know it because you feel it. And what I often see in like private coaching sessions is that I can actually somehow, I often attract these wonderful, lovely, kind people that are very, very, just kind and sensitive and wonderful, lovely people. But then I also see, mostly in these sessions, I kind of see, sometimes they are behind this person or next to this person, but I see this other version of them appear. And this is often a way more, it's as if there's this power being sitting next to them. Often, last time it was really one with bright colors, like with bright colors, and very, very confident and very clear about what they actually wanted and what they desired and what they were like here for to do. So it's sometimes so obvious, and I know that deep down it's also quite obvious to us of who we really would be if we allowed ourselves to be free and to be the expression, our like real natural expression. So it's sometimes so obvious, but still we do so much work in trying to kind of put ourselves in that cage, in that box of what we are thinking is being asked of us, how we need to kind of follow the rules. I know that, for example, here in the Netherlands, it's we really have a culture of not being too happy. That's not really normal. It's not being too much. It's like act normal and then it's like good enough. We have these expressions that are like do just the normal thing and just work hard and then everything will be all right. But don't show up as too much. Don't put yourself in the spotlight too much. We don't like that in our culture. And this is really like my inner being, my natural expression is in that sense, like in the Dutch sense, way too American actually, way too happy, way too loud, way too expressive, way too many words, way too many stories to tell and expressions to be, way too much color, way too much, just too much. And that's not an actual thing. That's just something that happens inside of me because that's something that I chose to believe. So that was what was keeping me inside this small cage. And of course, that is what life is about. I think to see like, I kind of put on my own boundaries. I kind of put on my own barriers. I built this cage for myself. I built this cage with my own belief system, with my own ideas, and it is not really real. So maybe today ask yourself, what would be your actual natural expression if you allowed yourself to really be free and just be as you are? And aside from culture that you live in, from your family system, from your schooling, from all the ideas about what you should be, what is your actual natural expression? What is your tiger, your stage tiger looking like? Is it a stage tiger or is it more just a very, very happy person? Is it, who is he or she? Well, guys, you can watch this video later on and I will see you soon again.